So now we're talking about the ears, eyes, nose, and throat. We call this EENT, and we're going to start off with the most common, and I would say the most simple emergency, and that is epistaxis. Not just any epistaxis, anterior nosebleeds, digital trauma, also known as nose picking, dry air, and hypertension can damage the vasculature of the nasal cavities. Obviously, it states it's the anterior portion of the nose. The patient will have nosebleed that is slow bleeding, self-limiting, and resolves quickly. Put the patient in a sitting position, lean them forward with their mouth open. Apply direct pressure to the lower part of the nose for at least 15 minutes. Try to estimate the amount of blood loss. Another trick is if it doesn't stop bleeding, you could always put a cold pack up on top of the bridge of the nose, and that will help those blood vessels constrict and slow down the bleed. Now, as for posterior nosebleeds, there's not much that we can do in EMS other than lean them forward, hold the bridge of the nose, and just drive them to the hospital. That posterior section is way beyond where we can stop that bleed. They'll even have to pack the nostrils with very large gauze, kind of like a tampon. They'll do all that at the hospital. Just make sure you're transporting. Down into conjunctivitis. This is bacteria, virus, allergies, chemicals, or foreign bodies that can cause inflammation of the eye. Remember, the conjunctiva is if you pull down your eye, you could see that pink outer lining. That's the conjunctiva. Now, even though that's the conjunctiva, a trademark sign that you'll note is the whites of the eyes, also known as the sclera, will take on a red or pink tint. There's not much that we can do. Supportive care and transport. Conjunctivitis or pink eye is contagious, so make sure you are keeping your distance from those patients. So I hope you're enjoying this lecture. I just wanted to come to tell you that this EMT guide with the video that you're watching right now is available on Amazon. It's got different colored sections throughout the book. It's got everything from the start to the end of EMT. It includes quizzes and lectures exactly like the one that you're watching right now. If you're interested in purchasing it, I'm going to add in the description below a link to grab it. That's all I wanted to tell you. So good luck with everything and continue with the lecture. Next, we're taking a look at glaucoma. It states various conditions can cause aqueous humor not to drain properly, resulting in an increased intraocular pressure that could result in optic nerve damage and therefore vision loss. The patient can have a cloudy cornea. Remember, the cornea is that outer covering of the eye. Vision loss, irregular pupil margins, severe eye pain, and photophobia is possible. Remember, photophobia is that sensitivity to light. For treatment, transport to the ED for a physician evaluation. Next, we're looking at TMJ, and that is temporal mandibular joint disorders. TMJ disorders encompass a range of conditions affecting the TMJ. Muscles of mastication, that's muscles of chewing, and associated structures. They can result from trauma, arthritis, dental malocclusion, or excessive teeth grinding. Signs and symptoms: jaw pain or tenderness, limited range of motion or locking of the jaw, clicking or popping sounds of the jaw. For treatment, not much that EMS can do. We can consider heat and cold packs, and then it's just supportive care and transport. Next, we're looking at a corneal abrasion. Direct trauma, foreign bodies, contact lenses, or UV radiation that can scratch the cornea. If left untreated, this can develop into an ulcer. Now, I can tell you from personal experience, I've actually scratched my cornea. It's an embarrassing story. I had a leaf literally blow in my face and the leaf cut my cornea. It felt like something was stuck in my eye and I couldn't open my eye, and I had to go to the ER and they used eye drops to numb my eye. There was this whole thing that I had to go through. But look at these signs and symptoms here: pain with extraocular movement, excessive tearing, and the sensation of a foreign body. I can't stress that enough. Cover both eyes and supportive care. Remember, whenever an eye is injured, we're always going to cover both eyes because we don't want both eyes to move if one is injured. Next, we got impacted cerumen. And cerumen just means earwax. Normal flow of earwax out of the ear canal can be impeded by improper use of hygiene tools, keratosis, abnormal ear canal shape, or hearing aid use, and can cause a cerumen plug. Patient will experience pressure or sensation of fullness in the ear, dizziness, ringing, loss of hearing, and pain or itchiness. Treatment: wax must be removed by a physician. Oftentimes, they will use like a plastic syringe with saline and flush out the ear. There's a lot of tricks that they have that can remove that earwax. Next, we have rhinitis. This is inflammation of the nasal cavity, can be caused by bacterial or viral infections, allergens, medications, or changes in the environment, such as temperature and weather. These are cold symptoms. So if you've ever have a runny nose or just congestion, that is another term for rhinitis. Treatment, supportive care, and transport in a fowler position. Maybe provide that patient with tissues, whatever the case might be. Oftentimes, people don't call for EMS because of the common cold, but there's people like that out there. And last, we have sinusitis. Drainage from the sinuses to the nasal cavity become blocked, causing an infection. The mucus buildup results in an increased pressure and sinus inflammation, which can be very painful. Facial pressure and pain and nasal congestion is found in these patients. These patients can really benefit from nasal decongestants such as Afrin and even antihistamines for inflammation if it's from like an allergy attack. This type of treatment, though, will be for either from ALS or at the hospital.
So maybe you're in school and you're trying to get better, you're trying to learn information, and you're trying to score better on exams. Maybe you finish school and you're trying to prepare for the national registry or your state exam, and you're looking for a place where you can get more information. I got you. Behind me right now is myschool.com Rescue Academy. And here we get to discuss different topics for the EMT, advanced EMT, and for the paramedic. As you can see here, I have a bulletin board full of different information that can help you pass your exams. Next, in the classroom section, I have over 1,000 exam questions for the EMT or paramedic. In here, you can just click if you want to do quizzes or different tests. There's also all my videos are all in one place to make it much easier for you to look through. Now, a lot of students always ask me how to get better at testing. And my answer to them and my answer to you is to test more. So I wanted to create my own community where I get to provide exams for you. And you could come in here and pick whatever section you want. If you want to do medical, I have a bunch of medical quizzes that you can take. And this is going to help you not only get through school, but like I said, pass the national on the first try. Now, if this does interest you, like I said, I'm going to have a link down in the description below. It's only $15 a month, and hopefully I'll get to see you there soon. Best of luck with the studying.